Well, with Warframe Techrot Encore having recently come out, the music of Warframe that I tend to gravitate towards is not so much this grungy rock aesthetic. That's not really necessarily my cup of tea. I do love the boy band stuff from Warframe 1999, but I am always curious when a new update comes out what the login screen will sound like, and also what Matt Chalmers and the team over there is cooking. So let's check out some of these vocal tracks first. I think this is from The Stars. Let's listen to this.
Take me out of this place, find another way, deadly, a cosmic mistake, can't anticipate, and it makes you wonder, above the thunder, what we could have been. Endless, we can mend this under my skin. I've hidden behind the scope of your temper, but that's in your canton. I've seen the black hole and watched antimatter.
It reminds me so much of some Pearl Jam songs I used to listen to, several years ago. And by several, I mean 15 plus years ago. I believe Matt is singing here in this particular case, the composer, and the sound is so fresh, youthful, and also plaintive. And I think here what's really cool is that we kind of stay within. I think we're gonna peak here, I think, but we stay in this sort of very controlled emotional state where we feel restless, agitated, but really the sadness is really the thing that keeps us kind of pressed down on the ground. And I think that works really well here.
From the stars.
Love that effect in the back. I like how he says from the stars and we get this space thing, you know? It wants to release. It wants to build up and explode. There it is. A little bit of grind in the voice there. Yeah, that's cool. The repeated thing. So I love the little bit of press that we have in that voice moment there. It's the whole thing is very, very pretty, right? But then as we get near the end of the song and we're really talking about being alone again, there's a real little bit of a press on the vocals, which is quite nice. And then the repetition here, it's cool. It never really explodes out, which is nice. I mean, it doesn't necessarily need the big I think it works. I really appreciate this little corner because I think repeating words to alone again, alone again, alone again, we really want to keep re-emphasizing. And even here, as we repeat it, we're actually adding to the harmony, which is great.
Alone again, alone again, alone again, alone, I've hidden behind the scope of your temper, but that's it, you can't atone. I've seen
Yeah. I mean, it really works, doesn't it? It really sounds like it's rooted in that sort of early thousands sound, obviously. It's interesting to go from like boy band to this, and there's some like Red Hot Chili Peppers, Nine Inch Nails sort of qualities that also exist in Warframe 1999 soundtrack, but here it's like really, really dialed back, which is cool. I'd be curious to hear the context of this one. I think for me personally, I would have liked more chorus because the chorus is so like really good. I felt like the end here, the last 40 seconds was really the meat and potatoes of the piece. I would have enjoyed more of that. Let's check out the login theme.
Through the eyes of my peers.
Whoa. That's the login screen? That's insane. Okay. Cool syncopation, right? It's just so crazy how how different Warframe's music has become over the last even just year. I really appreciate the leaning into this like time period, especially. Shout out to being able to sing like this in the upper register, especially because that is hard. The genres here are not the same, even though they're within the same maybe umbrella of like the 2000s alternative. That quality in that is very good. Again, do I like 2000s alternative? Not really. So I feel like listening to it, I feel like I don't necessarily have things to add to this. I can just point out the things that I hear, the things that I appreciate. And also like, just like the fact that this exists in 2025 is really wild to me. Like the quality is at a very high level. To be able to take something and replicate it and essentially like, it's not pastiche where we're not making fun of it. We're like, we're reinterpreting, recreating something, you know, that's driven by nostalgia and driven by like history, musical history, and take it and elevate it and modernize it while still keeping it in that sound from that time period. That's mental. I mean, yes, we do that all the time with like classical stuff in video games all the time, but you don't often hear it done with this kind of thing. And just with the boy bands, like the boy bands as well, it shouldn't be that good. And yet it's so rooted. Not only is it rooted within Warframe's like lexicon, but it's also rooted within the sound style of those time periods. It pays homage while also like revolutionizing it. It's crazy. Let's check out a stage defense, just a couple minutes of it. it's cool. It's cool to take the main theme and then really lean into a heavier, harder, more intense guitar version of it, which is essentially anything we see in any video game, really. But we you know, the fact that we can take something and create an alternate version of it to have more intensity, you know, we hear this in like Fire Emblem or any game that does like, you know, dynamic music where we take the day and night cycle, you know, we take the rain and thunder version and so on and so forth. Like, to have the little extra oomph in this is pretty dope. Let's check out the Technocyte Coda theme. Okay, so I'm really curious about this because I haven't played yet, so I don't actually know what the Technocyte Coda are. I know that they're legit. Well, anyway. Okay, so it's online. A little weird, a little freaky. Everybody come on. Okay. It's an instrumental of the online track, okay. 1, 2, 3. Under the neon. Cool. I like that. It's a fun remix of online. Oh. That's fun. I'm really curious about Alive Again. That's a really nice harmony, by the way. Listen. Dusting the dirt of your bones. Matt's up there. Dust in the dirt of your bones. 'Cause you don't ever play that nice. And I don't expect to come clean, infecting all of me. It's overcome and too much. Why don't you let me be? Intoxicated soul. Remember Yeah, it does definitely have a Korn vibe, doesn't it? It feels very visceral. And also too with the lyrics, it's so funny because I really don't necessarily think that I actually can add anything to this conversation because it just like places me in a nostalgia from when I was growing up and like CDs that I used to have. It just is so accurate to that timescape. You know what I mean? Alive Again, like she's talking about, basically like possessed, if you will, or whatever. You know what I mean? There's an energy in that I honestly have nothing to say. It's like crazy because it's so much, like it's so coded. I'm just listening to something from when I was a kid. It is on the nose, you know what I mean? Like it delivers exactly what it is and what it sounds like, There's complexity, there's frustration, there's anger, there's, lamenting it. And I don't know, in a way, I kind of feel like this music, not the composition, but the music, like the style itself, like I feel like us as listeners can have deep experiences with it, but I don't necessarily think that the music itself is very deep. You know what I mean? Like it's heavy slams on the guitar. It's just, chords at a very simple level. Like it has emphasis at moments. It has moments where it hits us with heavier emphasis and heavy wham. But I don't necessarily think that it's not necessarily intricate from an emotional level. Like the emotions here were consistent, which is fine. But yeah, it's interesting. Let's check out Lamenting the Days. Now this was featuring Jake Bowen, Mark Holcomb, Elliot Coleman. Yeah, so that's cool because she says, my head is spinning, I can't regain control. And then in the guitar, you have the slamming, and the slamming is interesting because to me, it feels like that's the musical symbol of losing control, right? And there's a little bit of delay, there's some pushing and pulling in there. I mean, that's really interesting because that feels like it's like actively assisting the words as they're telling the story. The music, the instruments are the subtext of the vocals, if that makes sense. I also find it interesting how pulled back her voice is compared to what's happening in the guitars and the electric guitars and then in the double bass drum. Like those are very aggressive sounds, but her voice is very like dialed back and almost contemplative. And I find that juxtaposition kind of interesting because it feels like there's two emotions going on, right? There's the one emotion, which is like, man, I don't know, like this is really too bad, like blah, 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 blah. And then there's the other, which is like, I am a machine, I'm strong, I'm powerful, I'm full of anger, blah, 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 blah. A bit of a lament. Love that double bass. Oh, see, this is interesting.
The message went unanswered. I stood alone as the world ended, and you never even replied. The last thing I saw was the glow of a message that never came. Then the glow of a world that went away.
I like how it fades out. It's really cool because it feels like the urge of someone to like wake up. I want to do this. I want to start something. I want to be something that I'm not. And there's almost like there's a blockage. And then we have to like sort of take the bat and knock the block down and be able to be like, I'm starting over. Like, this is my new life. This is the way I want to be. I am this person now, and I want to start fresh. And it feels to me like, especially near the end, really just like tearing down the wall and saying, you know what? I'm not letting anybody tell me how I'm going to live my life. I'm going to live my life based on what I want to do. I liked that. Again, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with how these pieces are composed. I think they're composed really well. You know, I know Matt. I know he's an incredible composer. For me, it's about my own personal taste, where it's not quite the like Warframe sound that I want. You know what I mean? Like, I want the Jay Shadows thing. But also, to be fair, there's something to be said for being willing to take risks and try things and be able to be like, you know what? No, we're going in a different direction. We're going to do something new. Because how many taiko drums and shamisen and choral things can you do before it's like, okay, well, that's what Warframe is, you know? And I appreciate them, especially Digital Extremes, is willing to take risks and willing to try new things. And I mean, that's why anybody that's played Warframe, you know, most people are like, what? There's a boy band in Warframe? Because you know, they're willing to take the risks to try it. And I think like in a risk averse industry, it's pretty incredible that they can pull this off and do it well. Really interesting stuff. I mean, it's cool to hear new music. And again, like, this is stuff that we've heard before in the early thousands, and now we're hearing it in 2025. And we're hearing it as an homage, as like a legitimate version of it, just for a video game and not on the radio, which is mind-blowing. So kudos to Matt and the team over there for what they're pumping out. I know that it's not easy to create these kinds of music. So thanks a ton. I'll see you later.